significant development, the Women's Reservation Act 2023, which provides 33% reservation for women in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, has officially come into force following a notification issued by the Union Law Ministry. The Union Law Ministry has issued a notification bringing the provisions of the law into effect from April 16, 2026, which was yesterday. The rollout of the women's quota remains linked to the delimitation exercise, which will be carried out after the next census. This means the reservation cannot be enforced until the census is completed and constituency boundaries are redrawn accordingly. The legislation is based on the Constitution's 106th Amendment, also known as the Nari Shakti Bandhan Adhiniyam. It was passed by Parliament in September 2023 and has been described as a landmark reform aimed at boosting women's reservation in governance. Under the Act, 1/3 of seats in the Lok Sabha and state assemblies will be reserved for women. But with implementation tied to the future delimitation, full enforcement is expected only after the completion of the census process. Meanwhile, senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh termed the notification of the 106th Constitutional Amendment Act as quote-unquote absolutely bizarre. Jairam Ramesh wrote on X that this is absolutely bizarre. The Nari Shakti Bandhan Adhiniyam passed in September 2023 has come into force on Thursday, while amendments to it are being debated and will be voted upon today. He said that the Congress party is now completely puzzled. And I'm being joined by my colleague Sabyasachi Roy Chaudhary, is also with me in the newsroom. Sabyasachi, the voting is today for the key 3 bills in the parliament today, and the government has put the law into force. The 2023 Women's Reservation Bill is now into the force. How can a law be into the force while the amendments to the bill is still being debated in the Lok Sabha?
Well, Nancy, that's the important point which the opposition, in fact, have been raising. Now, the opposition have cited examples of delimitation in the state of Assam and delimitation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, in the state of Assam, when the delimitation was carried out, it was carried out based on a different census and in comparison to the Jammu and Kashmir. So, in both the states, the delimitation was carried out based on different census. Now, the opposition says that in Assam, when the delimitation was carried out, it was carried out in a manner which will benefit the Bharatiya Janata Party, because Assam has a large percentage of Muslim community. Right. So the Muslim community right now has been tied to a very concentrated area, where the remaining larger area focuses on the Hindu community, which clearly gives an advantage to the Bharatiya Janata Party. But if you look at Jammu and Kashmir, after the delimitation process, in Jammu and Kashmir, the BJP does not even field a candidate in the Muslim-dominated area. So clearly, in Jammu and Kashmir, post the delimitation, clearly it has not gone well as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. Now, the opposition says that back in 2023, when the Women Reservation Bill was passed in the Parliament, why wasn't the law brought in at that particular time? Why did the central government has to wait for so long? Because they are trying to use it as a political tool for the 2029 Lok Sabha polls. That's
right, Sabyasachi. I'm also being joined by Congress MP Manikam Tagore. Tagore is also with us on the broadcast. Sir, the Congress is calling the Gazette notification absolutely bizarre, and the Congress party is claiming that they are completely puzzled, that the law is in force, but the amendments to the law is being debated in the Lok Sabha.
Yeah, the government don't know what they are doing, and they woken up yesterday only, and they notified it, a bill which was, the act which was been passed 3 years before, and they had the way the government is messing up the whole issue for only their cheap political gains and electoral victories, whatever they wanted to do it, they are trying to manipulate the mixing the delimitation issue with this women reservation. And the Prime Minister gave a speech in which he was not at all ready to speak about delimitation. Therefore, we all know that the government is in a fix, and they don't know what they are able to, why they have taken up this amendments to the Parliament, and they don't know how to get out of it also.
Mr. Manikam Tagore, Sabyasachi, this side, if the Lok Sabha seat expand from 543 to potentially 800 plus, now who gains politically and who loses?
we need to understand that where is this written in the bill? Well, nowhere. Government assurance is not law and not binding also. Whomever Amit Shah is saying in the parliament something, it is only assurance. It is not a law and it won't be binding also. The number of the seats to be allocated to each state has to be determined by the delimitation commission to be constituted for this purpose. Is that these numbers are already known? What will the commission do? Because Tejasvi Surya was reading these numbers before Mr. Amit Shah being reading it. The proposed delimitation commission 2026 also doesn't lay down any such criteria of 50% increase in seats. It only says seats to be allocated on the basis of latest census figures, subject to principles laid down in constitution like same population, seat ratio for all states as far as practicable. Constituencies must be geographically consistent as far as practicable. No assembly constituency should spread over 2 parliamentary seats. Reservation of seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in proportion to population. Women reservation and rotation to be undertaken. If government can assure what prevents it also hard code into the law. Is the government planning to bring an amendment to these bills to include 50% criteria in the law itself? And at least attempt to ask relevant questions to these government sources before spreading these kind of news by these by the BJP and their friends. We all know that they are prepared before the ministers reply. When Mr. Amit Shah has to reply today, he was reading out a comparison chart, which was only known to Tejasvi Surya, but it is not in the bill. Which is not in the bill. How we can take that into seriousness? Suppose they want to do delimitation and they want to do the Assam thing, where 45% of the population votes also, you will be defeated. Because for 43% or 42%, you can win from a government there. Because the delimitation is structured like that. This delimitation denies the right of a certain section of people, and they can remap the whole constituencies in their way, and there is no appeal to the court also. Because never delimitation was misused in the previous time, but this time Assam and Jammu and Kashmir has shown a way to them how to misuse it. Now they are doing that. They are trying to do it, and we will try to stop that in the parliament.
Mr. Tagore, with the notification into force now, what will be the plan of action as far as the opposition is concerned?
Yeah, today the discussion will take place, and we are very clear that morning there is a 10 o'clock India Alliance opposition floor leaders meeting is there, and we will all coordinate well. And yesterday also, when we all sat together and 185 members voted, and few of them could not reach because they were traveling back from constituencies where elections are going, Bengal, Tamil Nadu and others. We are coordinating well, and we will defeat the bill when the voting is going to take place at 4 o'clock.
Voting is going to take place at 4 o'clock, so it is very much important that all the MPs from the opposition parties are present out here. We have heard from the Trinamool Congress that some of their MPs are tied up because of the poll campaign. So any word coming in from the Trinamool Congress to the other parties that the MPs are going to be present when the voting takes place?
Yeah, yesterday we discussed that Trinamool is committed that they are as their senior leaders are held up with the campaign. A majority of the members will be there with us for voting. In Tamil Nadu, all the 40 MPs are here already. We are very clear that we have to defeat this delimitation discrimination bill, and we all are united in it, and all the opposition parties are united. We hope that we all stand together as we stood yesterday, and today also we will stand together and defeat this discriminatory bill, which is going to take away the rights of each state, particularly Bengal, Tamil Nadu and like states, where BJP, particularly Mr. Amit Shah, wants to redraw the constituencies whichever way he wants to suit for BJP.
Manikam Tego for joining us on the broadcast. Sabyasachi, the 2023 Act, which is now in force, it states that the law will be implemented only after the census and the delimitation exercise based on the latest census. And now, with the Act in force, does that mean that the government's the aim to roll out the women's reservation before 2029 polls is now derailed in a way?
See, the government wants to implement the women reservation bill for the 2029 Lok Sabha polls. And in fact, yesterday, if you heard what Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said, that it is very much important that the women rights are given to them. In fact, he also cautioned the opposition parties that it is very much important that the opposition parties come together under the same page, because Prime Minister says that this is above politics. In fact, he says that if the women reservation bill is passed, then the credit would not go to the NDA, but the credit will go to all the political parties who were present inside the house. So yesterday, Nancy, what is important to know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi did speak on the women reservation bill, but he did not speak much on the delimitation issue. In fact, that is the point which the opposition have been continuously highlighting. In fact, Manikam Tagore, in fact, as we were discussing a few minutes back about the delimitation process in the state of Assam and Jammu and Kashmir, Manikam Tagore also highlighted that particular point. So the opposition says that this is a political tool. In fact, this tool will be used to give advantage to the NDA, to the Bharatiya Janata Party going ahead. And the opposition says that right from the very beginning, we have been saying that we are not against the women reservation bill, but the women reservation bill should be implemented on the existing 543 members.
Well, that's right, Sabyasachi. And if I quote Sonia Gandhi, she also said that the real issue is not the women reservation. The issue is delimitation, and the opposition supports women's reservation in the parliament on its principal basis, but they are not going to allow the delimitation process based on the 2011 census. But as far as now that we saw in parliament yesterday, the major showdown between the government and the opposition parties, the opposition came united. TMC, DMK, Congress party, all three of the parties have opposed to the bill, and especially the southern states are also raising fears of reduced southern states representation in the parliament after the delimitation exercise.
Well, Nancy, it is very interesting. See, when you talk about the regional parties and the Congress party and the opposition, they are fighting against each other in the state polls. But when it comes to the women reservation bill, the delimitation, all of the opposition parties are united. In fact, the meeting that was called in by Mallikarjun Kharge, 18 political parties were present out there, and these 18 political parties make up to 230 seats in the parliament. So the message...
That's right, Sabyasachi. Stay with us. A. Sarvanan from DMK is also with me on the broadcast. Sarvanan, this is the moment the opposition party and DMK being the most vocal critic of the delimitation exercise by the government. Now the government has issued a notification and they have put the act into force. So with that, it's being enforced, even if the amendments to the bill is still being debated in the Lok Sabha. How does the DMK see this development?
See, we don't oppose the women's reservation bill. It could be executed even at this 543 numbers. Absolutely no problem with that. We are giving our unequivocal support to that. The question is, what is the BJP government trying to do? Why are they linking women's reservation bill to delimitation bill? What kind of chicanery is this? That is the question everybody is asking. And delimitation, we are opposing it. We will not allow our right to be reduced, the share of our states to be reduced by the whims and fancies of the BJP and the RSS. So it's not going to happen. We followed the population control policy. We followed every diktat issued by the union government for the welfare of the union, for the welfare of our country. Now the same yardstick cannot be used to penalize us. So we will oppose that.
Sabyasachi, this side, but the central government yesterday, several of the members, in fact, raised this point that Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, is politicizing the entire issue, and they are spreading misinformation. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that this is not the time to politicize the issue. This is for the greater good.
whenever the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, says, don't politicize and it is for the greater good, that has only brought disaster to our country. I can cite any number of examples. During COVID, he used the same thing. During demonetization, he used the same thing. During demonetization, we all know what he said. So, the Prime Minister does not have the moral authority to say that don't politicize. Whatever the BJP does, whatever the Prime Minister does is only politics. They have not done anything good for the country. And you take away our right, you take away the constitutional protections, and you come and say, what audacity you have to come and say, don't politicize this. Why? They say there will be a proportional representation. They say it's 50% across the board. Why it is not there in the bill? You want us to believe what Mr. Amit Shah says? Tomorrow morning he'll come and say it's a jumla and walk off. The next day Mr. Nitin Gadkari will say, we never thought we will continue in office. That is why we said this. With this kind of people governing us, we cannot afford to stay quiet